everybody, it's Paige with The Paige Show. Today's topic is the special ones. So I'm sitting in line waiting to get my kids from school, and you see all the little cuties on the sidewalk jumping with energy that you would have thought got out the rest of the day at school, but you know it's about to hop in your car with some intensity. And there's 50, 100, however many of us, all in our cars, probably thinking the same thing and preparing for entry. And the thought of COVID, of course, screams at you because all these little cuties are wearing their mask. And so when I saw this, it was the first day where all of the kids had their mask on. It was a really cool human proud moment because if as an adult you're struggling with wearing a mask, imagine having a 5-year-old all the way up to whatever age, but especially a 5-year-old keep a mask on. All of you teachers out there, bless you, because you know what I'm talking about. It's pretty impossible, but in this moment they all were waiting patiently, not jumping with joy, yes, to get in the car and tell us as parents, all about their crazy, I'm sure, exciting day. But they did something great. Their mask was on. And the thought of COVID comes to me. I'm sure you're tired of talking about it like the rest of us, but it is our reality. This show is about real experiences, so it probably will come up for a while because we're still dealing with this pandemic and all the changes it throws at us. So that being tied into the proud moment of kids wearing a mask really made me start thinking about all of those that we've lost with COVID and how news being fake, real, all of the things that we can find issue with as far as that these days. The real science, if there's any proof behind it, if the numbers could be considered accurate at all, does show us that most of the people we're losing from COVID are elderly, more seasoned people. And there is great sadness with that. There is great loss no matter what age. And I know that across the country and world, more people have transitioned or passed from COVID that are not just elderly. I am not discounting that. But for this topic and how it came to me in that moment, it was how, wow, how gracious the universe is and God's plans must be for a virus that has literally taken over the world and changed life and schedules as we knew it to be something that targeted everyone for the most part except these little cuties standing on the sidewalk. Now you see how I'm coming full circle with that. That these little people who have even less control over their lives, right? They just wake up, they do what they do, and they just know what they know in the moment. And no matter how we have had to explain things to them or have tried to spare them from things, they still know there's a lot going on. It's scary to them because they don't understand it. Really, even more than adults do. There's plenty of us adults that are having issues coping. So imagine a little kid who can't comprehend things just emotionally, IQ, development, whatever. They can't comprehend it the same way, dealing with this every day and all the changes. And so to see them all in line wearing a mask and, despite their energy, being able to understand the importance of that, or at least listen to and obey the importance of that, it was a really proud moment for us, for that school, for the teachers, for everyone. It should be, at least. But it really brought out the deepness. When I have a thought come to me, of course, it kind of goes down all these different pathways. And it made me just say, wow, God's grace and plans with this whole experience has really saved those little ones, for the most part, from this virus. It's been something that if it was valid back in our day, if it had been present back in the time of me growing up, a woman who's almost 40, we wouldn't have had the technology needed to navigate all the changes that we've done with this. We wouldn't have probably embrace the changes as well. A mask being one part of our everyday accessories now, to not forget. When a mask growing up for me really could have been something scary, kid or adult. You associate that with shots or the doctor, things like that. And now it's just a normal thing that we all, but especially thinking about the little ones, the kiddos, they just do it now. They just wear it. So it's really transitioning thought away from those old patterns as well. It's causing paradigm shifts with something as simple as a mask. So yeah, I went down all those pathways, but the real big piece to focus on is that, even if the rest of us are not being saved from this virus, it's been almost formulated as a way to keep kids safe. Kids are not the highest risk for this. And there is some grace and peace in that. Now, for those of you who have lost your child to COVID, I know this is not a talk that's going to speak to you or be a truth to you. And there's going to be a lot of suffering and pain with that. And I understand that. And although I can't say I understand from personally experiencing it, I can understand why this wouldn't speak to you. What I do want to get across, though, is that I think we have to look at certain big picture points when we're going through something as crazy huge as this pandemic has been for society, and all of the things that it did and shaped and changed and is still changing for us. And so this special ones, the thought of that really is something I can embrace from this COVID experience now as a valid special point, something that maybe spirit, that divine download that I talk about, would want us to take away from this, is that they are sparing our little ones. And then it makes you wonder, okay, well, why? So what is so special about these little ones, that they can be a generation shaped from the experience, having paradigm shifts that they can grow out of at an early age from this experience, and still, be resilient. You see that they're still laughing and happy, and for the most part, all the changes around them that they're embracing, they still are finding their kid joy, and there's symbolism in that as well for us as adults, to find that joy in the middle of all of the crazy. But what my real point is that these little ones are special. I think that they are here for a bigger purpose. We have talked about, we as a spiritual community, whatever you want to call it, that, we've been birthing some very intuitive children into this life. And it's going to take something more awake and conscious, there we go, like these little people, to make huge changes that we need in the world. And so I don't think that it is ironic that something that is taking out the rest of us has really kind of missed the younger people, the babies, the kiddos. And I think that that is speaking to how special they are and what their purpose on this planet is going to be. They will have resilience that we maybe have had to really strive for as adults from my generation and past. They will have a greater ability to adapt, I believe, from what I've already seen, and my own kids and other kids that we associate with. And, I think the big piece is that they're going to be able to use this experience to say that they grew up during a pandemic and have the memory of that as really testimony to all of the good that they can do and that can come from what could have been just stressful and scary for them. I guess that's the resilience that I keep bringing up. But watching them in line, all I could hear is these are some special ones, these little special people, and they are going to change the world, and God's grace and plans for them really have been wrapped into the experience of this pandemic and what it would build in them and create in them, character and strength, all of those things. So, from this side, this generational side of things, all I can really say is that I am just blessed to be able to watch 4 special ones, my 4, grow into these big plans. I can't wait, and I hope I am around to see some of the big things that these special ones are being saved right now to do. And I just really, really hope that part of this speaks to you, even if the topic itself doesn't. At least the point of pulling some bigger divine joy in the middle of chaos from a topic does speak to you. And if you have a special one out there, remind them that they're special, and remind them that they're doing a great job in this craziness to do something as simple as wearing a mask. Those are the small things that will go a long way. And until we do this again, take care of yourself.